Well, the Eagles free agency is going from bad to worse. After not franchise tagging CJ Gardner-Johnson yesterday, Adam Schefter said today the Eagles will lose CJ Gardner-Johnson, Javon Hargrave, and a bunch of other free agents. We'll give you the full list, but good news on Brandon Graham. He looks like he will be coming back according to multiple reports. I'm Thomas Mott. This is the Thomas Mott Show. What's up, guys? Thomas Mott here. Welcome to the Thomas Mott Show on, a depressing week. It's a depressing Wednesday right now. Philadelphia's going to lose a bunch of their free agents, and looks like CJ Gardner-Johnson is going to be the big fish that gets away because he costs too much money. According to Adam Schefter, as we will see, Philadelphia is gearing up to lose all of their big-name free agents except for one, most notably Brandon Graham, which we'll have towards the latter part of today's show. First, though, live stream tonight. We're doing a live show, the Wednesday link. Myself, Josh Davis, the Philly Special Show, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Link down below in the description box. Don't miss out on that. We'll be live tonight breaking it all down for you guys, answering your questions. But first, let's go ahead and jump in with the Thomas R. Peterson tweet that got me over to the Adam Schefter audio. We'll play here in just 1 second. Thomas says this, quote, Eagles are likely to lose Hargrave, CJ Gardner-Johnson, and Bradberry, according to Adam Schefter. Previously, that's Adam Kaplan, made it very clear the Eagles' highest priority was CJ Gardner-Johnson. If they didn't get a deal done, they'd tag him. Right now, seems like things have changed. And obviously, Philadelphia did not tag CJ Gardner-Johnson. And you see on your screen, CJ Gardner-Johnson posted this tweet where he basically was saying goodbye to Philadelphia. Now, it doesn't mean they can't work out a long-term deal because CJ Gardner-Johnson will now go to free agency next week and teams will offer him money. And if the money is comparable to Philadelphia, maybe he'll stay in Philadelphia. But it's looking like he is going to be gone, and of course Hargrave and James Bradberry as well. Now, Adam Schefter was on the John Kincaid show on 97.5 The Fanatic this morning, giving the full breakdown of the situation. Let's take a listen to what he had to say.
Well, first of all, no surprise that they didn't use their franchise tag. I don't think they ever planned to do that, and so Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, Javon Hargrave, and Brandon Graham, and Fletcher Cox, and all those people, they all become free agents now. Allowed to test the market. Look, they're in a situation where this team's going to have to be constructed differently. They had Jalen Hurts on a rookie contract, and that contract's going to get done, I believe. I don't know when, whether it's a week, a month before training camp, but they know it's going to get done, and they're obviously planning for that. And so when you're paying your quarterback, let's just call it $45 to $50 million a year. Right? We'll call it 50 because that's closer to 50 than 45. When you're paying him $50 million a year and you're paying him on a rookie contract, you can't afford the same number of players that you did when he was on a rookie deal. You just can't. So they've planned, like, teams have their salary cap situations literally drawn out for years to come. I mean, they've known about this year 3-4 years ago. What they didn't know was that Jalen was going to develop into the star that he is. They're going to have to pay him, roughly $50 million a year. And so you adjust and tweak your system to that. But they knew this was coming, and they're going to lose defensive talent. That's just the way it is. It's the cost of doing business. They'd like to have most of those players back. They can't.
That, of course, is 100% accurate. Adam Schefter laid it all out there. Now, Schefter would later go on to say, quote, the good part to this is that when they lose the defensive talent that they inevitably will, they'll get picks back. Then you start to draft some good replacement players, rookie contracts. I'm sure there will be some free agent bargains hanging around that they can add as well, end quote. Speaking of free agent bargains, we're going to do that show later on this week, so subscribe, thumbs up, help me get to 10K, because that's going to be a very interesting video. Cheap guys that they could sign. Now, before you go down and comment, well, Jalen Hurts is ruining everything because it's going to cost $50 million a year, according to Adam Schefter. Don't be ridiculous. You have to pay your quarterbacks. That's what you do. When you have an elite quarterback like Jalen Hurts is, like Patrick Mahomes, like Justin Herbert, Joe Burrow, you have to inevitably go ahead and pay them. Now, the difference is this. Let me just make it very clear. Sure, Philadelphia's going to lose some talent. They're going to lose a starting safety. They're going to lose a starting defensive tackle. They're probably going to lose maybe a linebacker in TJ Edwards. They're going to lose a starting cornerback in James Bradberry. They can fill these holes. Now, will they be as dominant defensively as they were, especially during the regular season, as they this season or this coming season as they were last year? No. But What you will be able to do is still score a ton of points. Philadelphia's offense is not going to change. It might even get a little better if they draft Bijan Robinson. Their offense is going to be just as good, if not a little bit better. Offensive coordinator Brian Johnson, scheming things up. Obviously, Jalen Hurts going into year 4 now can be much, much better. This team is going to be just fine. Now, will they take a little bit of a step back? Maybe. Maybe it's not 14 wins in the regular season, but you're telling me they can't win the NFC East with Daniel Jones, Dak Prescott, and Sam Howell starting quarterbacks? You're telling me they can't be dominant in the NFC playoffs with, Aaron Rodgers is going to be a Jet. Derek Carr is the best quarterback in the NFC. Come on, the NFC is still wide open, and so we knew this was coming. I thought that they would get a deal done with CJ Gardner-Johnson. Sure, they still might, but it's looking like they won't. But the rest of these guys, we knew that they were going to leave, and so instead of being bummed out about it, let's focus in on some cheap free agent options and focus in on who you draft, because if you nail picks 10, picks 30, and your second-round draft pick, you have 3 starters. Instantly 3 starters on rookie contracts. So I know the panic is there. I understand why, but I think Philadelphia is going to be just fine. Thumbs up for that if you guys agree. Also, I'm making a March Madness betting league on the Viget app, which is a very, very fun fantasy sports betting league where you don't bet any of your own money. It's all virtual. It's super fun. TFM website has the link down below. A couple of you guys have already joined. This kicks off, of course, when March Madness begins a little bit, next week? 14th, 15th? But it's a great chance for you to win some serious money here because the guys at TFM and myself are going to put $50 in for every person that joins the league. And so the top 10 finishers are going to share a part of the pot. And so we might not have, 10, 15, 20, 30 people in there. The pot's going to be pretty big. All you got to do is follow the steps on the TFM webpage. Again, down below in the description box. Sign up with a draft partner or a betting partner that you don't already have. DraftKings, FanDuel, BetMGM, Bet365. Place a first bet. Send us the bet slip. Of course, the email is right there as well, and you can be a part of the league. A lot of fun. I want you guys to join and enjoy. All right, another story here. Let's go over to the Brandon Graham news. Going to lose a lot of defensive players. Sounds like Brandon Graham is not going to be one of them. Now, Howard Eskin, the legendary Eagles broadcaster, silent reporter, 94.1 WIP. The guy's a legend. He has the inside scoop here. He could be wrong, but most likely he's right. Bleeding Green Nation says this. Howard Eskin says Brandon Graham will be back to the Eagles. Quote, Brandon Graham's not going to get a lot of money in the grand scheme of what you consider a lot of money. I think he's coming back. From what I understand, they're working it out that he'll be back, end quote. Now, teams are going to offer Brandon Graham more money than Philadelphia will, but if you want to finish out your entire career as an Eagle, Brandon Graham has a very simple way to do that. I think Howie Roseman has an incentive to do that as well. You remember, Howie Roseman, his very first draft pick ever as the Eagles GM was Brandon Graham. Eons and eons and eons ago back in 2010. And so thumbs up, I think BG is going to come back. As we look at the Eagle list of players that are all free agents, if I had to guess, now that CJ Gardner-Johnson, I was wrong on that, most Eagle people were. I have to guess who they go ahead and bring back. I think they're going to re-sign Marcus Epps to a cheap deal. I know, but okay, just bear with me. I think they're going to re-sign BG, and I think they're going to get one more player, whether it's Boston Scott, maybe on a cheap deal, Miles Sanders, maybe on a cheap deal, or who I want is TJ Edwards on a cheap deal. Those would be my 3 options right now. I think it's going to be Epps. I think it's probably going to be TJ Edwards. And I think it's going to be Brandon Graham out of all of the internal free agents Philadelphia has. The rest of the holes will be filled, again, via the NFL draft, and then some bargain cheap free agents, which we'll talk about on either tomorrow's show or Friday's show, so thumbs up and stay tuned for that. All right, before we go ahead and end, I do want to mention quickly here, I have made a Facebook page for the show. The Thomas Mott Show is on Facebook. Would love for you guys to go ahead and give it a like and a follow. I'm going to be posting some fun stuff on there. I want to interact with the Facebook audience, and so go ahead and it'll be linked down below. But search, Thomas Mott Show on Facebook. A couple of you guys have already found it. I'd appreciate if you guys go ahead and thumbs up that as well. All right, again, I know it's a tough day. CJ Gardner-Johnson probably gone, but Howie always has something up his sleeve. Maybe he gets the deal done in the end. Maybe Javon Hargrave comes back. Who knows? I'll cover it all here and the rest of the National Football League as well, because the NFL as a whole is crazy. I'm Thomas Mott. This has been the Thomas Mott Show.